What's good, ladies and gentlemen? It's the chosen one back at it, and today's lecture is going to be on a very important topic that we all have to understand: the meaning, the concept, and the true origin of this word. Now, I know this is going to scare a lot of people away, especially, religious people. But once again, a lot of individuals just don't understand how good we have been deceived. The power of the deception of the global elite. Okay, what they did was they basically gave us false religion to believe in, and this happened while we lost all of our ancestral knowledge and wisdom of how all humans on this planet are connected with nature, the universal force of nature. Okay? Now, when you say this word right here, this word voodoo magic, okay? It has been given a terrible, terrible name and has been looked at in a very terrible light for many, many years. And that is because when the Caucasians who enslaved the Moors, the children of the Moors from Europe, okay, they told them that their true form of spirituality was nothing but evil, witchcraft, and to stay away from it. And so what happened? If they would practice it, they were hung, they were beaten, or they were burned alive at the stake. Go look up the Salem witch trials, okay? Those individuals were actually slaves. Do your research. That were trying to practice their ancient ancestors' rituals, and they were put to death. They were put to death. Go look it up. Look up the numbers of individuals who were killed by the Roman Catholic Church and the Christian Church practicing their ancient ancestors' spiritual science known as voodoo. Okay? And like I said, these individuals were doing nothing but using holistic herbs and natural energies coming from natural plants on this planet to heal themselves and to heal loved ones. So instead of going to the fake made up Jesus image that they want you to worship, okay, they were using holistic remedies to cure themselves and to cure their family and their loved ones. And what happened to them? The Christian Church and the Catholic Church put their asses to death. Okay? Okay, so this is a very, very serious topic. Okay? And let me just get this off my chest before I go any further. The term voodoo comes from the French term Vaudois or Vaudai or Vaudo. Okay? That is where the word voodoo comes from. Voodoo does not come from West Africa. Let me repeat. The term voodoo does not come from West Africa. It's a French term that comes from Vaudois, Vaudai, and Vaudo. Okay? And the melanated Moors in France created the French language, and they were the ones who created Vaudois, Vaudai, Vaudo. And then when they came to Haiti, when the French Moors were enslaved and were transported to Haiti, they changed it to voodoo. Now, what do these terms mean in French? They mean sorcerer. They mean sorcerer. Now, let me reiterate what I've been saying for the longest. All this word means is you are going to the direct source. You're the sorcerer who's going to the direct source to get your problems met, to get your problems solved. You're going to the direct source to get your problem solved. And what is the direct source? The direct source is nature. The direct source is nature. Earth, air, water, fire. The physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual aspects of humans on this planet. Okay? So when you use the voodoo, you are the sorcerer who's going to the direct source to get his problems met, which is nature. You're going back to nature to solve your problems. The earth represents the physical, air represents the mental, fire is the spiritual, water is the emotional. Okay? The four aspects of humans on this planet. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. Okay? It's really sad that, the Roman Catholic Church and the Vatican basically pulled the wool over the eyes of all of humans on this planet to get the only spiritual science that can save humanity and make it look like evil, complete evil nonsense and witchcraft. Okay? They put a bad name on sorcery when sorcery really means you're going back to the main source and the true source to get your problems met, which is nature. So they vilified nature, they vilified this word, sorcerer, and they vilified our ancestors' science of voodoo. Okay? And ladies and gentlemen, if you think it's a bunch of bullshit, there's only been one or two times when melanated people have defeated European imposers. And one of those instances was in near southern Africa, okay, and the other one was in Haiti. The Zulu warriors and the Haiti ancestors are the only two that won their revolutions on a big scale. And we have to look at, why is that? Why is that? This is the answer, people. This is the answer, people. And it's so crazy because I know this word, you know what I'm saying, kind of sends little shockwaves in your head and kind of gives you a little bit of discomfort. But that is because of hundreds and hundreds of years of indoctrination and miseducation and mind fuckery. They basically flip-flopped it, people. The true form of witchcraft is coming out of the goddamn King James Bible. Because like I already told people, the King James Bible was written by a man who was a well-known demonologist and wrote books on demonology before he translated the King James Bible. That's who King James was. King James was a homosexual demonologist who took part in enslaving the Moors in Europe. That is why he was king of England/Scotland the same time slavery started in America, people. It's time to wake the hell up. It's time to wake up. Okay? This comes directly from your ancestors. This is using spiritual science connected to nature and your DNA system to get your needs met. Okay? When you say you're a sorcerer, you're going to the direct source to get your needs met. Okay? As long as you are not using this spiritual science to harm someone for no reason, then that is going to put karmic debt on your soul. Something called karmic debt, where something spiritually is going to happen to you in the future because of the negativity you put on another soul using this form of spirituality. Okay? So like anything else, if we're looking at a weapon or a gun, it can be used for evil or it can be used for good. That doesn't make the whole science evil, people. This is our ancestors' stuff that they don't want us to tap into. This is how the Haitians and the Zulu warriors won their revolutions, by this magic, by this energy, this universal energy right here. Okay? So when you say voodoo, that's really our Moorish French ancestors saying the word sorcerer. And when you say sorcerer, you're really that means you're going to the direct source to get your needs met, which is these four aspects of nature. Okay? Any ritual you do for healing or to help a loved one or someone in need is done on something called a new moon. It's done on a new moon. And the new moon is when the moon's light cannot be seen at night. Let me repeat. The new moon is when the moon's light is not reflected in the night, and when you look up in the night sky, you cannot see the moon. You cannot see the moon's reflecting the sun's light. Okay, so the moon just looks like a dark shadow in the sky, and you can only really see the moon in the night with a telescope. That is called the new moon. So when the new moon occurs, that is the time to do the rituals that are needed to help somebody in need, or to cast a spell on the Zionist Jews in power and the Knights of Malta in the Vatican. Okay, if you want to do that, that has to be done on a new moon. On a new moon. Okay, so after I believe 13 days after that, 13 to 20 days after that, is when you're going to get your full moon. On your full moon, that is when your spells will be, their energy will be harnessed from the moon and will be enacted and put back on this planet on the full moon. So basically on the full moon, that is when the spell will be fully manifested. Okay? And the spell will go into effect on the full moon. Okay? So you start the voodoo ritual on the new moon, and it does not manifest itself until the full moon. Okay? That is why the full moon is so significant, because there's certain sorcerers out here who are casting negative spells on people during the new moon, and they're manifesting on the full moon. And that is why these people are out here going crazy, going insane on the full moon. They're under spells and they don't even know it. This is why crystals are so important. This is why meditation is so important. And this is why living by moving water is very important. Fire destroys physical demons because fire is spiritual. Okay? Water destroys spiritual demons. Let me repeat. Fire destroys physical demons. Fire destroys physical demons. Water destroys spiritual demons. Water is probably the most precious substance in this third dimension, because it connects us with the higher realm, the celestial seas. It all starts with the water first. It all starts with the water. Okay? Period, point blank. So when you want to take care of spiritual demons, you go to moving water. You go near moving water. You burn sage. You burn a plant called sage. You start sun gazing. You start You start looking into the sun. Okay? You try to remember the most pleasant memory you can think of in your past. The most happiest, joyful moment that you can remember in your past. And at that moment is when the demon is going to exit your body. Where have we seen this before? In the Harry Potter movies. The first one was called the first one where this incident happened was Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. Go watch Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix, the fifth book, the fifth movie. These demons were called Death Eaters. And they basically took over a human soul and gave them depression and anxiety and a bunch of fearfulness. Okay? And that is what that is. That is what those demons represent. Okay? So to get rid of these demons, you have to go near moving water. Go near moving water and look in the sun and remember a memory, your most happy memory, your most joyful memory in your life. And I'm telling you, the sun's energy, the electromagnetic energy from the moving water and the energy from your heart chakra from remembering that joyful memory is going to cause the demon to exit your body. Remember, in that Harry Potter movie, the fifth one, when Harry Potter remembered the most joyful memory in his life, a damn shield was put around his aura and the Death Eaters couldn't harm him anymore. It's the same thing, people. It's the same thing with voodoo magic. It's the exact same thing. This is why I did this video, because somebody came to me who was an up-and-coming rapper, and he said he sold his soul to a demon and to get fame and recognition and to get a small record deal. And he said he didn't want to be involved in it anymore. So he was asking me, what can he do to basically get his soul back? He wanted his soul back. Now, I'm not going to mention the individual's name on this video out of respect. I would never do anything like that. I just want the brother to know that I love him for coming out and admitting what he did and coming to me for help, because I basically told him, you know what I'm saying, this voodoo can be used for good or evil. Okay? Do not let these Christians fool you. Do not let these Catholics fool you. This is the ancient science of our Moorish ancestors that comes straight out of Kemet and straight out of Babylon. Okay? So I told him, go to a place where water is moving, with moving water. Look into the sun. You know what I'm saying? Burn some sage while you're looking into the sun, and try to remember the most joyful moment that ever happened in your life. And at that moment, the demon will be released from your body. And make sure you do this. Make sure you do this on the morning before the night of the new moon. Make sure you do this on the morning or the afternoon before this night where the new moon is going to occur. And I told him to do this, and this is what he's going to do, ladies and gentlemen. So by the time the full moon is enacted, the demon is going to be completely removed away from his aura. Okay? Away from his aura. Okay? This is how you get demon spirits out of your body. Okay? You do this physically through voodoo magic. You don't call on some Serapis guy who never existed and who we can't find his grave site or his ancestors. We can't find who his ancestors are today. We can't find who Mary and Joseph's ancestors are today. You know what I'm saying? We're talking about people who supposedly only lived 2,000 years ago. We still can't find their ancestors. You know what I'm saying? He never existed as far as historical documentation. You know what I'm saying? But this word was given the most evil light, the most evil name through cartoons, through churches, and through movies. Okay, that's how they tried to dumb us down. All the horror movies they made in the 80s were to give voodoo a bad name. But voodoo was the only damn thing that could save us. This is how our Haitian ancestors, our Haitian brothers, defeated the French in Haiti. This is how the Zulu warriors defeated the British. We better wake the hell up. We better wake the hell up before it's too late. Okay? Okay, I appreciate that brother who came to me, who tried to get in the music industry, and he had to sell his soul to do it. He said he didn't have to sacrifice a human. He sacrificed a chicken, okay, or a rooster, which is a lower level organism, which has much lower chakras, a much lower number of chakras than humans. So basically, he would just have to do about three good deeds, pure of heart, after he did this ritual by going near moving water, sun gazing, and remembering the most happy memory in his life while burning sage, okay, and doing that on the afternoon of the new moon, okay. So when the full moon came, if he did 3 acts of kindness, okay, that truly came from the heart chakra, that would counteract the sacrifice of the rooster. Okay? We have to get hip to this information. And guess what? The more information I find on this spiritual science known as voodoo, the more videos I'm getting ready to upload. Because we have to get hip to this information. They tried to install fear in us to keep us from the only thing that can save us, people. The Knights of Malta and the Vatican and Hollywood sorcerers are using this against us, and we have to use it against them. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. Okay? Voodoo and spiritual science are also connected to our DNA. Our DNA currently has 2 strands because we have devolved from 13-strand humans. Let me prove that. The scientists just came out and said there's 10 other strands of DNA known as junk DNA. They call it junk DNA, but it's really jump DNA. Put a M and a P after the JU, and you get the jump DNA. So 10 and 2 give you 12. Okay? Which means that our ancestors that were living on this planet 3,000, no, I say about 6,000 to 13,000 years ago, had 12 strands of DNA. 12 to 13 strands of DNA, which connects us with our 13 chakra points on our body. So each strand of our DNA rules a different chakra point on our body. And the DNA structure is made of 4 major protein codes: A, T, C, and G. A, T, C, and G. So when you look at the DNA structure of animals on this planet, the only difference between humans and other animals on this planet is the A, T, C, and G is just put in a different order. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. Ladies and gentlemen, we are connected to all the animals on this planet through our DNA. Okay? The only difference is the codes are put in a different order. So our DNA is no different than a snake, a fish, any other animal, a whale, a tortoise. You know what I'm saying? A monkey. All the difference is is the protein codes on the DNA strand are put in a different numerical order. They're put in a different order, people. Okay? Which means that we are all made of the same building blocks by the same creator. Put us here on this planet. That's all that means, ladies and gentlemen. We can also see our DNA as Jacob's ladder. The spiritual science, okay, that leads us up to our pineal gland, okay, tapping into our kundalini energy, our kundalini rising. That's why King James said the serpent was evil, to keep us away from tapping into our kundalini energy and activating our DNA genetic codes, which would allow us to tap into our ancestral memory. You see what I'm saying? Our ancestral memory has to do with our DNA. Our Akashic records, which have to do with our soul's memory, is in our pineal gland. That is what Jacob's ladder is referring to in the Bible, people. It all goes back to our genetic code, our DNA code, DNA activation. We really have 12 strands of DNA. Do not believe these scientists. They call the 10 other strands junk DNA. That's baloney. That's bullshit. We have 12 strands of DNA. Okay, some of us have 13. 13 strands of DNA, 13 chakra points. If they are activated through cleansing our aura, cleansing our chakra, cleansing our mind, spirit, and body, okay, our DNA will send us from 3D to 5D. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. Okay? This is the ladder in and out of dimensions. It is our DNA. Deoxyribonucleic acid. They call it acid because it's a form of plasma that comes from the stars. So they called it acid. Okay? So this is really all I got for today. I hope I could expose a lot of truth to my subscribers today with this lecture. I hope I could have enlightened people in the best way, shape, or form. Okay? So I appreciate everybody who supported RFG Movement, Atlantean Movement. Like, subscribe, leave a comment. It's the Chosen One Man. I'm out.